South Koreans went crazy over South Korea's elimination from the World Cup. And they went so crazy that the head coach has been threatened and he's also been banned from entering several establishments in South Korea. You heard that right, this is madness. And if that wasn't enough, this happened. After South Korea's surprising defeat against South Africa in the World Cup, a TV channel even blurred the face of the South Korean coach as if he were a criminal. Don't look any further, guys. This is how criminals are treated on Korean television. And this is how they are treating the head coach of South Korea, who apparently has already resigned. Because as if that wasn't enough, the president of South Korea called for an investigation. An investigation into South Korea's elimination from the World Cup. And just so you know, for those who don't, South Korea was in Group A with Mexico, South Africa, and Czechia, which used to be the Czech Republic, right? And well, South Korea was eliminated. Surprisingly, South Korea was eliminated even though they were one of the favorites. From my point of view, along with Mexico, they were the big favorite to advance to the next round, to the next phase, and they couldn't do it. They couldn't even qualify as one of the best third-place teams, which is a shocking defeat for the South Korean team. I mean, I know they're not the best team in the world. I know they're not Argentina, they're not France, they're not Germany, they're not Brazil. I know that, I'm aware of it. But look, South Korea has always been a very competitive team, a very tough team. South Korea has always been one of those teams that, if you face them in a World Cup as a powerhouse, you can beat them. You're almost certain to beat them, but it's not going to be that easy. I mean, they always end up losing 2-1, 3-2, 1-0. That is to say, South Korea is a competitive team. And they ended up losing against South Africa. Just imagine, against South Africa. But it had already been shown that South Africa wasn't as bad as it seemed. Because in the opening match against Mexico, honestly, South Africa looked really bad. They seemed like amateurs, but later on they showed they weren't that bad. They tied with Czechia, beat South Korea, and kept Canada at 0-0 almost until the last minute. So South Africa actually did pretty well. From my perspective, they surprised everyone. Now, even so, South Korea should have beaten them. South Korea had the ability and the talent to beat South Africa easily. South Korea began by defeating Czechia in Guadalajara, their first match, and they looked really good. They proved to be a strong team. Then, against Mexico, well, yes, they lost because of a goalkeeper's mistake. But well, Mexico was the favorite in the group. Mexico was the host. It's a match you can lose. But against South Africa, it's incredible. Guys, South Korea only had to draw. They just had to draw. And they weren't even able to do that. They lost against South Africa. And well, now they're out of the World Cup. Just imagine. And that has cost them very, very dearly. People are so furious that, as I said, there are threats against the head coach. Look, terrible threats are circulating online, including a post that promised to take out the head coach when he arrives in Incheon. Incheon is the international airport of South Korea. Is it? It's the main airport of Seoul. A very modern airport with 2 terminals, robots and more. Just imagine. But anyway, they tell us here. As I mentioned in space, personally I'm worried about the safety of Hong, the head coach. I hope Incheon provides military-grade security for him. Okay, and the South Korean national team when they arrive. Me too, honestly. I mean, honestly. Despite the result, which was a failure and a shame, there's no doubt about that. What happened with South Korea was a shame. But guys, it's football. I mean, it's still just entertainment. It's still just a simple sport. The head coach of South Korea doesn't deserve to lose his life just for losing a World Cup. It's crazy. I mean, it's something totally disproportionate. In fact, the guy already resigned. And really, please look at the scandal in South Korea, ladies and gentlemen. South Korea's elimination in the group stage of the World Cup has already had consequences. And they even reached the presidency of the country. President Lee Jae-myung declared himself completely baffled by the national team's failure and demanded explanations for the federation's management. Wow. Very harsh. He directly questioned the appointment of Hong as coach. He insisted that merit and competition were not prioritized when choosing the coach. Who? Not only am I surprised by this unexpected result, but I'm completely baffled, he wrote on NX. He also ordered the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism to conduct an investigation to clarify the causes of the failure and to evaluate possible reforms in the administration of South Korean soccer. So you understand, this is a total crisis in South Korea. It's a scandal. They didn't expect to be eliminated, much less by South Africa. What happened in that match was a total embarrassment for them. I'm telling you, the South Koreans went completely crazy. And I want you to understand something. Few teams in that World Cup had such an easy schedule and such easy host cities as South Korea did. So you can understand, South Korea played their first 2 matches in the same stadium, the Guadalajara Stadium, where Uruguay lost to Spain, right there. They had their own camp, nice, they were treated like kings. And to top it off, their third match was also played in Mexico, in Monterrey, so South Korea never left Mexico. Just imagine, they played each and every one of their World Cup matches in Mexico. They had it super easy, super simple. The people, the local crowd, the Mexicans supported them. And even then, they couldn't make it through. Incredible. But look, even so, nothing justifies the way both the press and the Korean fans are treating the players and the coach. Nothing justifies it. I mean, they're treating this guy like a criminal. On top of that, they've threatened him. And if that wasn't enough, just look at what happened. For security reasons, Coach Hong and 8 players will return to Korea well past midnight to try to avoid or at least minimize confrontation with the enraged fans. The departures from Guadalajara for the rest of the players will be kept private. I've never seen anything like this before. I mean, just think about that. They're going to have to leave at dawn so they don't run into so many fans who will still be there waiting for them anyway. I mean, I've been at Incheon Airport. Unfortunately, no. If I told you, look, once there was a crisis with heavy rains and flooding, and I had to return from South Korea and I got stuck there for about 3 days in the airport. I'm serious, I actually lived in that airport for 3 days. So I can tell you, it's an airport that never sleeps. I mean, most of the stores are open 24/7 and there are people. So it's difficult. Of course, there are obviously more people during the day than at night. Therefore, they will definitely minimize the impact. Don't have any doubt about that. Now here they tell us the following. The South Korean national team will land at Incheon International Airport on Tuesday, South Korea time. Okay, let me remind you that there are 2 terminals separated from each other. I don't know which terminal they will land at. I think if they fly from Mexico, they'll probably land at Terminal 1, but it's hard to know because, for example, if you fly from the United States, you can land at either one. If you fly with Delta Airlines, you land at Terminal 2, which is the newest one. On the other hand, if you fly with American Airlines, you'll most likely land at Terminal 1. So it's hard to know where they'll land. I think there will be fans waiting for them at both terminals, and that's gonna get messy. 100% sure it's going to get really messy. Although keep in mind, many times you can know which flight they're coming from. However, I remind you that details of many of the flights will be kept private since they will be leaving on separate flights. But you can more or less keep track, know which flight, which plane they're coming from, and see exactly which terminal they're going to land at. We'll see if they come out the same door. We'll see. I mean, it's difficult, it's complicated. Maybe in South Korea, they want to take measures to protect and safeguard these people, and hopefully that's the case. But please, pay attention to the following. In other news, a GS25 convenience store has banned Hong from entering. Look guys, GS25 is a very famous convenience store in South Korea and in several Asian countries. I have one right below my condo. There are several around here. So it's super famous. GS25 is like an OXXO for those from Mexico or a 7-Eleven. That should give you an idea. The point is that they tell us a foreigner attracts attention by holding a cardboard sign outside that says Hong out. It's not an exaggeration to say that he's the most hated man in Korea right now. Look guys, at GS25 at a convenience store, they banned Hong, the coach of South Korea, from entering, and as if that wasn't enough, here they tell us. Restaurants and cafes banned the South Korean coach after the defeat in the World Cup. I mean, he's banned. Here we have another one, right? A restaurant forbids him from entering. Okay. Here's the GS25 that also banned this guy from entering. I mean, guys, they hate him. I mean, South Koreans hate this guy so much that they're not even letting him into establishments anymore. By the way, do you remember? Do you remember I said there are robots at the airport in South Korea? Seriously, look.
This is the Airstar, a guide robot at Incheon Airport. It's totally crazy, don't you think? It's epic to say, wow, there's a robot here. And these people are so modern, so epic that they even have their own robots. Guys, Koreans are ahead. These people live in the damn future. They're making fun of us, they're humiliating us, and we don't even realize it. Just look, just saying there's a robot, a damn robot. It even tells us about its experience here. What's the experience with the robot, man? Excellent, I'm very satisfied, clearly. I loved it, I love the service. It can even take pictures of us, just look at this. Wow, look, it's gonna take pictures of us. Look, who's this handsome guy here? It says we should look at its face. Okay, got it. We're getting ready. Okay, got it. Take the picture already. Hurry up.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, there we are. Wow, I loved it. Look at this handsome guy. Wow, these photos. What happened? No. It froze. The robot froze. Guys, look, there's no signal. Incredible. Latam moment. We've reached this robot's limit. It couldn't handle it. Incredible. All this technology here in Korea, for some reason, it's failing. What's going on?
Weren't you supposed to be in the future? It couldn't handle a photo of Astro Recargado. This can't be possible. You couldn't handle a photo. What the heck happened?
How am I supposed to get your help if you're only showing me the screen? This isn't working. What the hell? Guys, this robot is failing. The star isn't as modern and it's not as high-tech as we thought, as we believed. We've reached its limit. It has a bug when it takes 3 pictures of you, and if you pick the first one, boom, for some strange reason. So, that's incredible. That's incredible. This robot has a bug. It stopped working. Seriously. Look, the screen doesn't work anymore.
But anyway, I'd like to know what you think about all this. Thanks for watching and see you next time.